Hello and welcome to Makanori, where I'm reading a short urban horror story from my second collection of short stories, Tales from a Scary Girl, Darkly Sinister. And this week's story is called Ripened, and it's one of my favourites, so I'm hoping that you'll enjoy it too. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. I had heard about polygamy and bigamy at a young age when I used to participate in my mum's girls' nights. Unbeknownst to her, of course. She'd invite her friends round, and the wine would flow, the chocolate be absorbed, and the tongues become loose. This was the time I waited for, in my cramped hiding place, inside the then empty drinks cupboard. This was the time when the bile was unleashed, and I would hear things any self respecting 7-year-old shouldn't. I loved it. To listen to what those women would like to do to their snivelling, fat, lazy, abusive, repulsive, slimy, cheating ass husbands was the fodder for horror stories, and only made me think one thing: why were they still with them? Obviously, this thought was playing on their minds too one evening as they started discussing the merits of polygamy, a word I didn't understand at the time but grew to know intimately. I mean, what's not to like? Is it legal? Depends on the country and religion, but legal or not, it goes on. I, for one, have found it the best way to maintain a healthy and happy relationship. I can see you're probably appalled by this, but you need to step back and look at the bigger picture. It gives you the chance to live as many lives as you want. It gives you the opportunity to experience the thrill of an affair without the stigma of one. It allows you to play multiple roles, and we all like to act in our own way, don't we? I learned to act at a young age too, not in the stage and screen sense, but act nonetheless. To step into a room and read a scene and then respond accordingly is all acting. Maybe I've lost you now, but if you were the byproduct of two very volatile individuals who should never have been allowed to be together, never mind procreate, you'd understand. As with most things in life, it's about survival and control, controlling the situation to enable you to survive it. This takes skill as an actor. Polygamy is similar, for me anyway. I need to have overriding control over my relationship so I can play each of my roles to perfection without a hitch, and hence play out the various lives I've always fancied trying. It's not always easy though, and takes effort. You have to be on your toes all the time and have to be constantly thinking ahead. This is why I don't drink or do drugs, or even overdo caffeine. I can't afford for anything to dull my senses. I have to stay alert and make sure they don't find out about each other. That's how jealousy occurs. That's when the whole "who do you love more" starts. That's when my carefully crafted world disintegrates. And I can't have that. I've always been honest with them from the start. I always tell them exactly what I am, and I've always lived up to that. The trouble is, some people are never satisfied, and once they have everything they want, they get bored and want you to do something more. This galls me and brings back memories of my mum's girls' nights. It's at times like these I fully understand their complaints. I thought I'd planned for all this, though. Thought I'd built my world to stop this from happening. I guess every so often there's a rotten apple in the bag. It's dealing with this rotten fruit that takes time, though. It takes me away from the others, and that gets difficult to explain. Now, I have been blessed with unending patience, a necessity when you live the way I do, but even I find my fuse more quickly ignited at these times. You see, rotten fruit doesn't just let itself rot away to nothing, does it? No, it has to spread its rot to everything it touches, whether it be leaving its sticky residue on your carefully polished floors or allowing its decay to permeate your beautifully floral home. It's annoying, and it takes a long time to cleanse it from your life. Even then, when you think it's gone, there is always that worry that it will find a way to tarnish something new. That's just with one bad apple. But when you have several at the same time, well, let's just say my house of cards became just that. Is that your defence? No, not really. I just thought you might be interested. Sir, can I have a word, please? I sit back on my sofa as the tall, burly detective walks out of earshot with his nervous little colleague and survey my living room. It took me weeks to sand and polish these floorboards, and they are ripping them up with no consideration for my hard work. And why? All because the busybody next door can't stand the smell of rotten fruit. I should have listened to my gut and not bought a semi-detached. I always was a sucker for fruit trees, though. Leaning my head against the back of the sofa, I look up at the ceiling and the darkening pattern that is gradually fanning out. It's quite intriguing, the pattern that rot can make. Judging by the commotion upstairs, it won't be long before they halt this pattern. Mr. Lyle, the detective says as he comes back into the living room, how many homes do you have? Well, how many varieties of fruit trees are there in the country, detective? I don't know why he needs to know this, as not all my fruit has gone rotten. Just enough, it would seem. And that's the end of that story. So I'll see you next week for the last story in my collection. So I hope you'll tune in. Catch you later.